Good evening. I am George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now, Kentucky. We do have an update for you regarding tonight's round of severe weather that is moving through now. We do have some new pop-up storms that are occurring. We mentioned this may be the case, but the likelihood wasn't very high. Of course, we don't need high likelihoods in order for things to pop off around here. So, again, we do have some renewed storms occurring and popping up right now, mainly impacting portions of central Kentucky at this time. So, of course, as you're coming in, before we dive into the information, please tap the share button at the bottom portion of your screen. That shares this broadcast onto your news feed so that way your friends and family can view it and get informed and up to date on what to expect. So we would appreciate your help with that. I'm sure they would appreciate it. Thank you so much for those of you that share the broadcast. Let's go ahead and pull up the main display here and kind of go ahead and dive into what we're looking at here. So I'll pull up the prettier radar here in a few moments. I want to stick with the more technical radar here for a second. So all around here, central Kentucky, we have more storms that are popping up. Of course, out here in eastern Kentucky, you still have the main line that has just been slowly, ever so slowly, moving through that portion of the area. But some good news for our friends out there in eastern Kentucky. You see this thin line here on the left side of your screen. That is an outflow boundary. That is the reason these are starting to weaken. Now, of course, we do still have the one severe warning, but that is a massive decrease over the 3 or 4 severe warnings that have been with the entire line for the last 3 or 4 hours. So eastern side of Kentucky, your storm line is beginning to weaken. So now we focus more on the central Kentucky portion of the area where some of the better energies are, because once again, these areas have not been hit today. So a lot of warm air, a lot of unstable air in these areas. So most notably up to bat here first, I want to point out portions of Breckenridge and Meade counties, and then portions of Hardin County here up soon, and Jefferson County. This one is still measuring at about 60 mile per hour winds in this area. So keep an eye out for those areas, more specifically Brandenburg, Laconia, maybe down here toward Muldrow, Fort Knox, as this little baby cell down here tries to get going. And then after that would be West Point, maybe Valley Station, Shepherdsville, Lebanon Junction. So that's your most notable cell at the moment. Down here to the south, I want to point out we have some activity going on down here. Let's go ahead and look at the cell near Clay. That one is starting to spark up a little bit. It's struggling a little bit as well. It's only producing about 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gust right now, but we'll keep an eye on that because, again, that is one that's in a favorable area. Once again, this area has not been hit very much today. The better winds above our heads are definitely out here toward like the Owensboro, Henderson, Morganfield area. That's where the better wind speeds are above our head. So better energies over there. Over here toward Brownsville, another cell going on over there. Let's go ahead and zoom in on that. Let's go ahead and go over here. It's not looking like anything super impressive, but once again, these cells may tend to trend up a little bit. I will say the more south that you go at the moment, the more you're running away from the better wind speeds above our heads. Again, some storms may struggle while some storms may overperform. That's why we went ahead and went live again for you guys, just kind of give you an update on what to expect here. Like, once again, new storms are popping up. The main line I want to show you is out here. It's not showing up on radar right now because I'm on the wrong radar, but the main line is still sorry, I got the hiccups going on over here in eastern Kentucky. These are all pop-up showers that are happening behind the main line, and of course I have the hiccups. Is my chat section bugging? I'm only seeing Ivy's messages. If the chat section is working for you, if you want to tap like one or something, or just type something in so I can know if it's working or not. Someone, please. Maria, thank you. Hello on YouTube. I know the YouTube chat's working, but the Facebook one's being different. So we have some downburst winds starting to occur here. Thank you guys. Thank you. Yes, I can see them. Thank you. I wasn't sure if it was working or not, or if people were just kind of sitting back listening. Either way, it's fine. I just wanted to make sure it worked. But you have this out here. There's a nice little downburst starting to occur with this little baby cell is starting to get going. Also noticing almost a 3 spike here. So this one may begin to become a little bit stronger as it tracks through northern Hardin County, places like North Radcliffe, going toward Fort Knox and Muldrow out there. The main cell for this severe warning is definitely going to be this one back out here toward Brandenburg that's producing sustained winds of 60 mile per hour. That's correct, Silver. Okay, awesome. I just want to make sure it worked. I just wanted to make sure it worked so people, if they had any questions, they could ask questions and whatnot. Again, don't forget to tap the share button on the broadcast. I would appreciate your help with that. Let's go ahead and pull up the nicer looking radar here. A little bit easier to see, a little bit more fine-tuned. Josh, hello. How are you doing? So once again, the only warning right now, I believe in the state, yes, again, is up here for the Meade County area. Let's go ahead and read the bulletin here. This is going to be for Meade County and Southern Harrison County in Indiana. Again, the hazard of 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. I will tell you that I believe, I can't remember where it was exactly was at, but it was somewhere out here between Richmond, Danville, Harrisburg, this area. There was an 82-mile-per-hour wind gust recorded. I'll have to figure out exactly where that was. I can't remember off the top of my head. It happened a couple of hours ago. But there was an 82-mile-per-hour wind gust that was recorded. So pretty strong wind still going on. That's right, Stacy. So more specifically, the wind gusts that are the most in the state right now are happening right on the Ohio River between Kentucky and Indiana, just to the east of Brandenburg now. It was in Brandenburg probably about 5 minutes ago, going toward Tobacco Landing. And again, that would track right over northern Hardin County going into southern Jefferson County, and then Bullitt County would be up just after that if this continues on its track here. I don't really cover Indiana, so I'm not really sure where English Indiana is. We usually just stick with Kentucky here. But I can tell you if you're seeing a thunderstorm in Indiana right now, nothing is severe over there. But again, I don't cover Indiana. I don't know where English Indiana is. I would recommend finding someone that does cover Indiana. But I do want to point out once again here, we'll continue to see storms pop up until about the 8 to 9 p.m. time frame in this general area. Once again, there's no cap over here because there were no storm activity. There's been a long, I will say, let me rephrase that. So here's that circle once again. Over here to the west of I-65, you haven't really seen a thing today, honestly. Just to the east, you have seen activity, but it's been a while, so the cap has been able to fall apart, and that's where we're seeing storms being able to pop up once again in central Kentucky. What about Hopkinsville? Again, I don't think a whole lot of activity happens down there. If you get a pop-up to happen, it's possible. But you guys see how small these pop-ups are, right? Here. So it's impossible to tell you either way whether you're going to guarantee see one or not, just because once again they're so small, they're so isolated, they're so spread apart. So I can just tell you it's possible, it's not likely. How was Fort Knox? Fort Knox will see a strong to severe level thunderstorm here in about 10 minutes or so. Funnel cloud out in Lewisburg, but it broke up. I will say one thing we have not seen today. I haven't seen any rotation. So even though we haven't been on the broadcast all day with you, of course we've been posting updates. We've been watching the radar in the background. We've been doing all these things with meso analysis. I haven't seen anything that points toward anything tornadic today. So all the damages that we've seen are likely from straight line wind gust. Again, there have been no real pockets of rotation almost at all today in Kentucky. Again, same thing for Hodgenville. It's possible you get a pop-up to come through there, but I can't guarantee it. I mean, you guys can kind of look at this map and see it for yourself. Look at how small these are. So it's really impossible to tell you exactly where they're going to pop up at before they happen. First of all, I can just tell you the general area, if there are more pop-ups to continue, which I do think there will be, is going to be anywhere from Lexington back out toward like Madisonville, maybe Hopkinsville, this general circle. They could pop up anywhere in that circle. And quite frankly, any of them can go severe at any time, all the way up until about sunset. I think once we get to sunset, things will begin to calm down. Activity will become more sparse or more scarce. But I think equal chances do exist for everyone within that circled area for a pop-up to occur. And that pop-up could go severe, with the only hazard really being damaging winds. A code red. So what is a code red severe thunderstorm warning? I've never heard of that. That must be like a Weather Channel thing or something. That doesn't really exist in the actual like weather world. To Ekron from Cincinnati, Ohio, should I be concerned? I mean, depending upon where you are right now and what time you leave. I mean, if I were you, I would probably leave in about an hour if you can. Let this stuff kind of get past you. By the time you actually get down here, a lot of this should be past you. If you're at the Reds game and not leaving until another couple of hours, then you should be all good. May have a rain shower you might have to drive through, but it shouldn't be anything too terrible. Monticello tonight, once again, pop-ups can happen all the way until about sunset. Cannot guarantee it. And once again, those pop-ups could turn severe. I do think that Monticello, you've been impacted by this line over here. I think your energy is really tanked down for that area. So if you do see a pop-up occur, it should be non-severe. But again, cannot guarantee that. A weather alert text. Yeah, I don't know who, but what's the actual source? Because there is no like by technical definition, there is no code red severe thunderstorm warning from the National Weather Service. So I'm trying to figure out what that actual like source is. Is it from the Weather Channel? Is it from like AccuWeather? Because I've never heard of that. I'm leaving now. Have 2 hours. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this should be past you. So, I mean, if you're leaving now and you're coming down toward this way, a lot of this should be past you. Like I said, you may have to drive through a little bit of rain here and there, but it shouldn't be anything too bad. I understand that, he says he just got a code red severe thunderstorm warning in Brandenburg. This is not a destructive thunderstorm, so that's why I'm kind of confused. Bowling Green pop-ups can happen anywhere between now and about 9 p.m. Eastern time, and they do have a chance of being severe, with the main hazard being wind gust. But once again, cannot guarantee that. Laramie can't guarantee, but a pop-up is possible between now and sunset. Same thing for Barstown, Kelly. Indiana, Hamilton, no, there's no rotation with anything. We've been checking constantly. Have not seen any rotation really at all today. These have really been, micro bursts of winds. Oh, okay. See, that makes more sense. So if they're sending out their own alerts, that's why I wouldn't understand that. So that's not from the actual National Weather Service. Okay, understood. I got it. That's why I wasn't understanding that, because I was like, that's not a real warning, because that's not any type of language that the National Weather Service would use. But I understand now that y'all are telling me it's an independent service. Yeah, a lot of wind and rain with this storm here. Even this little baby cell down here, it's quite powerful. You can kind of see it on radar right here. Now, it's going into a radar hole. As you can see, the radar hole is right here. That's where the actual radar is. So we lose a little bit of the illustration. But you do see the red next to the green, the inbound versus the outbound here right next to each other. That indicates a downburst of winds that are occurring. Now, again, it's kind of hard to measure exactly how hard they are occurring, just because, again, it's going into that radar hole. We really can't see it. But I can tell you, I'm looking out my window right now. I am in Radcliffe, and that is at least 55-mile-per-hour winds. May even be higher than that. That is rocking my trees out there. Taylor, Fort Knox, it's storming right now. And there's your new severe warning for this cell. I do think they could probably include this cell in that warning box. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this warning box expanded to the south, because once again, I'm looking out of my window. I can tell you that's likely at least 50-mile-per-hour winds, probably close to 60-mile-per-hour. So I would be surprised to see this expand a little bit. Severe thunderstorm warning has been expanded to include Harrison County in south central Indiana, Meade County in central Kentucky, Jefferson, Bullitt, and Hardin County. This is just a regular standard severe warning. It is for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. This storm is moving east at about 40-mile-per-hour. Locations impacted in the future will be Shepherdsville, Hillview, Lebanon Junction, Muldraw, West Point, Cupio, Rosewood, Evans Landing, Bardstown Junction, and New Boston. Yeah, it might be on the southern side. So if you're on the southern side, like toward Rogersville Road and stuff like that, maybe down here toward 313, you're probably not seeing what's happening on the northern side of Radcliffe. And that's kind of going to be the case today. And that's why it's really hard to tell you guys, hey, you will see this, or hey, you won't see this, because they're so small. For example, this person on YouTube just said he's on the southern side of Radcliffe. He has no idea what we're talking about when it comes to the northern side of Radcliffe that's going to be clipped by this. So again, they're very small, very isolated. So that's why when you guys are asking, hey, what's going to happen here? What's going to happen here? What time? The answer is going to be the same pretty much no matter where you're asking, because it's equal chances of a pop-up occurring, but the likelihood of it actually happening is not all that high, because once again, the storms are very, very small. Very, very small. Yeah, guys, your G-Man. Looks like it calmed down for now a little bit. That was a pretty nice wind gust. You can kind of see it on the radar here too. So this is almost a gust front. So I don't think this is an outflow boundary. because it's not really attached to anything. But this does look like it's a little bit of a gust front, so that might be the storm's pushing cold air out in front of it, and that little mini cold front is actually what's sparking the storms that are along this line. So once again, if I put this into motion here, you'll see that not a whole lot was occurring just a little bit ago. I want you to train your eyes where I'm going to make this line. Just put your eyes here and don't move them. You'll see this occur in real time. So as I push this back forward, you'll see that the cold front's actually shoving cold air in front of it, and it's sparking this little baby cell that's in front of the actual line of storms there. So pretty cool stuff that's happening. It's not technically a cold front, but it's what I kind of refer to it. It's just in very layman terms. It's almost a mini cold front, and that's helping to be the forcing mechanism to pop up storms that are in front of the actual main cell up there toward West Point. Yeah, I would say you're probably central Ratcliffe, Ivy. I would say you're central. I'm on the northern side because I'm up here. So yeah, I would say I'm on the northern side because I'm closer to Fort Knox, closer to West Point. And then you got Central, which is of course right in Ratcliffe. Then you got Southern Ratcliffe, which is probably down there toward 313. Glasgow Horse Game once again equal chances of a pop up occurring between now and about 9 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Cannot guarantee it's going to happen either way, and they also have the chance to be severe, just like this one up here toward West Point. But once again, I just want to point out to you guys the size of these cells are so small. It's really hard to tell you whether you're going to be hit or not. It's not like it's a line of storms at this point. Earlier today, it was pretty easy to tell you. All right, we had that big line of storms that stretched, all the way through here. It's pretty easy to tell you, like, hey, Lexington, you're going to be hit. Hey, Danville, you're going to be hit. Now it's kind of more of the scattered or more of the isolated pop-ups that are occurring. They're very, very small, so impossible to tell you guys. For example, once again, down here toward Brownsville, northern Brownsville, you're seeing the storm. You can tell what's happening. If you're on the southern side of Brownsville, you're like, what in the world are they talking about? Right? So they're very, very small, very, very isolated. Hard to tell you guys in the future whether you're going to be impacted or not. Same thing for Somerset, Elsie. I want to point out that most of these are staying non-severe. You only have this one up here. I'm going to measure this again real quickly while we're over here, actually. Again, this storm is literally going right into the radar gap, so it's pretty hard to tell exactly what the winds are. This is about a 4-minute old scan here. Looks to be just under the 60 mile per hour threshold, but of course it's close enough that they're going to issue that warning. But this storm is literally going right into the radar, so we're going to actually lose this storm for a minute. Going to be really hard to tell what's happening up here for places like West Point. Just know that West Point, you have a severe thunderstorm coming into your area. Shepherdsville, you'll be up just after that. Pitts Point, just after that as well. So those areas on the western side of Bull County, eastern side of Hardin, just know a strong to severe thunderstorm is moving through the area. I want to point out over here toward Frankfort, you're probably hearing a lot of rumbles of thunder, but nothing is severe up there. Down here for Bowling Green and Russellville, your storm just went severe. That is for 60 mile per hour wind gust as well. This is for Logan and Simpson County in south central Kentucky. 60 mile per hour wind gusts are the main threat. Russellville, Anderson, Auburn, Cooperstown, Ensco, Dennis, Chandler's Chapel, South Union, whatever that word is there, and Gasper, Kentucky. You are under that warning. Once again, this is more specifically for Auburn, Chandler's Chapel, and Corinth, Kentucky. 60 mile per hour wind gusts, the threat. Jason, thank you for that update there. I'm going to go over here and measure these winds down here toward the Russellville area. It's like a downburst of winds, not necessarily a gust front or a gust of winds. Looks like a downburst of winds are occurring. I don't know if I'd really call that 60 mile per hour winds. But anytime you see a downburst pop up, they're going to warn it. That's just how it is, and I agree with that. I agree with that. I wouldn't call that 60 mile per hour winds right there, but it is definitely a downburst, so the warning is justified. Oh, the names of these towns in Kentucky are tremendous, tremendous. I'll take a look at some of the mesoanalysis real quickly. Barron County, once again, equal chances of a pop-up between now and about 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Could go severe. Most of them are staying non-severe. If they do turn severe, would be a main threat of 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. There's a lot of weird names. I wouldn't even call pig a weird name for Kentucky at this point. Yeah, rushes of cold air are occurring. I want to look at the Kentucky Mesonet real quick. You can almost see it right here. So here are your areas where the storms are actually occurring. Why is that so zoomed out? What is going on here? Okay, there we go. So you see all these storms are really dropping the temperatures by almost 10 degrees at a time. I mean, look over here in eastern Kentucky, what that line did to those folks out there, all the way down to 63 degrees in Pikeville, Kentucky. A big burst of cold air with these storms. That's helping to produce more storm activity as these are creating mini cold fronts and storms are spawning off of those cold fronts. Oh yeah, I'm ready for fall. I'm actually just ready for bed at this point. I don't feel well, and I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Tiffany, thank you for the update out of Horse Cave. I appreciate that. You're likely seeing this little storm right here. So this is non-severe. I actually really only see one lightning bolt as well. So this is a pretty casual, if you will, thunderstorm. But it's going to look really dark and scary just because it's coming into a very bright environment that really hasn't been touched today. Yeah, I never take naps during alert days though. We got to be careful. You never know what's going to happen. One time I did take a nap. I learned this lesson about 3 years ago. I was so tired. We were going on. I want to say 14 hours of coverage, and I couldn't do anymore. I'd hit empty, and I thought I had like a nice little 40-minute window to go take a cat nap, and then all of a sudden I fall asleep, crash out, don't hear the alarm, and then about 30 to 40 minutes later, a tornado occurred. So ever since then, I do not step away during alert days. I might take a step back from the computer for about 10 minutes, walk around the house or whatever it might be. But I do not go to bed during alert days, at least until I know for a fact that it's over. Learn that lesson the hard way. Yeah, Tiffany, it'll feel phenomenal next week, guys. It'll feel phenomenal next week. Oh yeah, Ivy. Yeah, just learn that the hard way. Just learn that the hard way. We can't say we're going to be there for folks and then not be there for folks. That's not in my DNA. Not in my DNA. So once again, we do have two severe warnings. I will wrap up this video here real quickly, though, because I don't think that this warrants us being on the broadcast for wall-to-wall coverage. I mean, we're talking about very marginal severe storms. Yes, they are severe, a couple of them, but they're very marginally severe. Once again, down there toward Russellville and Auburn, Kentucky, 60-mile-per-hour wind gust occurring down there. Northern Hardin County going into Bullitt County near Shepherdsville. Heads up, you have 60-mile-per-hour wind gust with that storm there. Down here for those southeastern portions of Friends down there in that corner of the state, down here toward Harlan, Kentucky. 60-mile-per-hour wind gust ongoing down there for that area with that line. Well, I just want to reiterate, these storms are very small. They're very isolated. You can have multiple scenarios where one part of a county is hit, the other part of the county is not hit. So I just want to point out to you guys, more pop-ups are possible through about the 9 p.m. hour. That's Eastern time. Again, once that sun starts to set, these storms start to fall apart. I don't think we're looking at more activity after that. They can go severe at any moment. They can come back down at any moment. These storms like to pulse up and down. So that's why we've kind of been reiterating that these are really unpredictable in a bit of fashion. We know the general area of where they may pop up at, which is, again, I'll circle it for you guys. The general area is basically where it's already occurring. So pretty easy to imagine here. Anywhere within the circle, your chances of a pop-up occurring are about 10 to 20%. But it is there. Will they go severe? Most likely not, but a couple may go severe. I know these are very back and forth answers here, but it's a very back and forth type of event. So just keep that in mind for tonight. I'll continue to post radar updates just like we've done all day long, so make sure you have our post notifications on Twitter and on Facebook. But I just don't think this warrants us being on the broadcast. Usually when we try to do broadcast on alert days, I want you guys to know that if we're going live, it's for some type of dangerous weather. While this is technically severe, I don't see anything dangerous about it. If that does change, of course, we'll hop back on the broadcast for you guys. Michael, unfortunately, we don't cover Tennessee. You have to find another outlet there. But until then, if hopefully I don't see you anymore tonight. If you don't see me anymore tonight, it means everything's going okay. If you do see me again, obviously hop back on the broadcast to find out what's going on. Until then, I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with WNK. Stay safe.